Bleaching your hair at home doesn't have to be a disaster, so I'm going to show you guys how I do it. Anyway, so here's some of the stuff I'm using. 40 volume. Joking, guys. I'm going to mix that with 10 vol. Don't you worry. Anyway, some clips, some bleach, obviously, and some toner, and, you know, some of the essentials. I was going to cut my hair, but that will have to be a whole other video, I think. I like to use the mohawk section, so that's 3 sections. And you're grabbing hair from each side of your parting to create the first main section, and then obviously the side section. And who cares about underneath, guys? Don't bother doing that if you're doing it yourself. It's just not worth it. Also, make sure there's no weird zigzags in there. You know, try and make it as clean as you can. So I do 2 scoops of bleach, and then I do 1 scoop of 40 vol, and then 2 scoops of 10 vol. I do want you guys to know that it is really hard to do yourself, okay? So don't watch this thinking it's super easy. I've done this many times. I like to start at the back of the mohawk section, do a thin horizontal slice, and then clip everything out of the way. And I also have this weaving comb, but I really struggle to use it, so I just weave it myself. So now you're going to pull your hair right in front of you, and this means that you can actually see what you're weaving out. If you have blonde in it like me, try stick with most of the brown parts, but you also want it to be a even weave. So then you lift it up, and you're going to do 2 big teasers. Pop in the foil, and then also brush out the teasy bits because you don't want any of that spotting happening. That happens when bleach falls onto the teased bits. So yeah, just brush those out of the way. And then you're obviously going to apply the bleach. I could have applied this a lot thicker, I think, but yeah, make sure you get a lot on there. And then just fold the foil back. I like to fold the sides. You don't necessarily have to, but I just feel like it locks it in there. Make sure the part that you're not bleaching is clipped away because you don't want to get that somehow colored as well. Okay, some tips on teasing. You don't want it to be so teased that you can't brush it out. I grab my comb and drag it all the way from the ends of the hair to the root of the hair. And I do this twice, and it just means that it's not going to be completely matted. It's going to be pretty simple to untangle. Then obviously just, you know, using that comb and getting all of those little fluffy bits out of the way and applying the bleach. And guys, honestly, you cannot see a dang thing. I like to do the face framing at the very end because your hair is super fine and you don't want that bleach on there for too long. You can see I'm really trying to focus on the brown bits and leaving those blonde ends out. In this section, instead of kind of going straight across, I do it on a wee diagonal, and I kind of do a diagonal from the back all the way to the front. It's kind of hard to explain, but you know, hopefully I'm kind of making sense. And then yeah, just get that bleach on there, baby. I hate those really thick, like emo, chunky fronts myself. They do not look good on me. I'm going to show you how I do this so it's kind of like soft but still bold. Comment for part 2 because I want to show you guys how to do the front section in an individual video. But this is what it's looking like. OMG.